Today I'm in the Woodyard round location. We're at my buddy's place. We're gonna cut some stumps off and then maybe we'll do some log splitting. He's got a pile here of rounds ready to go. Time to get to work. So here's a stump that he cut off, and then he's got 3 more over here, and he wants them cut down low to the ground. And I am going to cut them down low for him, and then he's gonna have them ground off either this fall yet or early winter, I should say. Or he may have a guy come and do it this spring. There's 3 ash tree stumps that he cut off, and he did a good job, it looks like. And he cut that one, I think, first, and then this one, then that one, then that one. He said he dropped them right where he wanted. He got it all cleaned up, raked everything up. He used my big trailer to haul the brush away, and then he's got this pile of rounds over here that we're going to be splitting. And a buddy of his wants all the wood, so I'm just here to kind of do a little cleanup job. And he told me, he said, hey, can you come cut the stumps off? I said, yeah, because he's got a smaller saw. And so he said, bring your big saw. So as a joke, I brought this bad boy. And that's just as a joke. So I'm going to pull that out and say, I brought my big saw. Thought I'd also bring my 592 and my 572, which is probably what I'll use actually to cut the stumps off. So we're going to get that done. So I'm going to show you guys how to cut stumps off low and level, how easy it is to do a really nice job of cutting them if you want to just get them really low so that you can either mow around them, or if you got lots of them that you don't want sticking up in your woods, it's not that hard to cut them really low. Sometimes you can dig away the dirt around the outside, use an old chain, and then cut. And if you cut with your saw on its right side and you cut, I'll show you how to do it, all of the chips go into underneath the kerf and it holds it up for you. So you just do one cut all the way around. Works really good. I've done it lots of times. So we're gonna do that right now. So on all these rounds here, he said he didn't measure, he just guessed on his cuts. And looks like he did a pretty good job. And it's going to a guy that just gonna burn it in his fireplace or whatever. So he doesn't really care if they're perfect or not. He's not selling the wood. And I offered to come and help him, but I was going deer hunting, so I wasn't able here to help him. He said he did it. It was a day and a half, took him to cut it all down, clean it all up and haul it away. So we're gonna cut this one first. It's actually pretty low already. It's not too bad. It's only about, I don't know, 8 inches sticking up, possibly 9, something like that. But we're gonna cut this one off as low as I can get it. I see there's a bunch of dirt right here that we're gonna have to worry about. So we'll get that brushed off and then we'll get the saw over here and we'll cut it down. The saw was not sharp to begin with, and I hit the ground pretty good. Oh yeah, I can see its teeth are all rounded. Chain needs tightening, so we're going to touch it up right now. I'm going to touch it up, sharpen it up a little bit, and then we'll tighten up the chain. This chain is pretty much at the end of its life anyway, so what I like to do obviously is start at the marked link here I didn't just hit the ground, I cut the ground, and the ground just froze, so it was pretty bad. I cut through about an inch of dirt for about a foot around the back side, so these are dull. And I'm glad I'm using this chain. It's an old chain. It's about 2/3 gone, which means it's at the end of its life, so this is why I'm using this chain. But I still like it sharp when I'm cutting, even though it's towards the end of its life. The teeth are just all rounded up on the top plate on the front edge, and the points are all rounded. So I'll probably have to sharpen it up after each stump, I'm thinking, because they're that bad. The bark was loose, so they're just full of dirt on the bottom from the, when it's windy, you get all those years of dirt that go down into the bark. All right, we're gonna start on the high side here, which is the best way to do it. Cut on the high side, that way I won't hit the ground on the low side. At the end, I'm gonna take my scrunch here, dig out a little bit around the bottom, so I want to get right down to the bottom. So we're gonna dig out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim these edges off because he's got other trees he wants to get cut down this winter and then next spring. And he'll be mowing probably before he has a stump guy come and take all the stumps out. And he's got a mower and he wants to be able to get right to the edge. So I told him I'd trim the edges up so he's not hitting his deck on his mower, bumping into all these stumps, even though I've got them cut low. You just give them a little more clearance. I know a lot of loggers will, not a lot of loggers, but some loggers will cut stumps, especially in their own woods. They'll cut them like this so that if they're dragging out timber, they're not getting caught up on a stump or having something hit it where you just boom, you stop. By sloping them like this, he'll be able to get his deck on his mower a lot closer. And again, I'm cutting into the dirt. I don't care. It's old bar, old chain, and no big deal. I know some guys would just freak out over this, but I've cut a lot of stumps off over the years. And cutting them nice and low, you're going to hit dirt. You're going to hit rocks. It just happens. And then just trimming these edges off like this just cleans it up really nice. And then when he goes to mow next spring, if he doesn't have all the stumps out, he'll be able to, get nice and close and won't have to worry about it. It just works really well, and it just kind of looks nice that way. He thought it was good that he wouldn't have to hit his mower deck up against it. So just one of those things. Don't have to do it. And again, like I said, if you've got stumps on your property and you want to have them lower so that you're not hitting them with anything, or if you're pulling logs out, they don't get hung up on them. They just slide right up and over the top. Or if you've got a ATV you're riding on your property, or a side-by-side, it's not a big bump you're going to hit. It kind of has more of a slope to it. So just one of those things. Don't have to do it. Just kind of looks nice. He thought it was kind of cool that he wouldn't hit his mower with it. But there you go. Just taking them along, you can see the dirt flying there. It's not good for the chain. But like I said, this chain was down to almost nothing here. And I sharpened it twice while I was cutting. I cut one stump, hit the ground really good, and I sharpened it. And then I cut a couple more stumps, and I did this on a couple, and then I sharpened it again. And there you go. Makes them look all pretty and everything, just kind of taking the edges off. I think altogether there was 4 stumps, if I remember right. And I cleaned them all up, and we raked stuff up. There you can see the stumps nice and rounded on the edges, just so it's good to go. And then we took the stumps and rolled those up. So you can see you can mow right over the top of those. I got them cut low enough that he wouldn't even have to go around the edges. I think he could go right over the top of them, and it probably wouldn't even hit the mower blades. Probably wouldn't even hit it, I don't think. But anyway, now we're going to do some splitting.